But we have an article out today that I published late last night, early this morning, about the breaking news from the Attorney General and the Director of the FBI that Mohammed Alshamrani, the jihadi who killed 3 Navy sailors and wounded 8 others at Naval Air Station Pensacola in December of 2019, was directly tied to Al-Qaeda. That was an Al-Qaeda operation from beginning to end. He was Al-Qaeda before he ever came to the United States and was supported along the way by Al-Qaeda. So after the attack in February, I think it was February 3rd, Al-Qaeda publicly came out and took credit for that attack, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. And the fact that this even happened is bad enough. But what it reveals, and if you add it to the mountain of attacks, including 9/11 to today, and how the military and the civilian government have catastrophically failed, that's what I want to talk about. What does this tell us? Well, he is a Saudi military officer who's Al-Qaeda, but he was vetted to come into a program where we, the United States government, train people from Saudi Arabia on how to fly. And we also allow them into our Army Ranger School, into all kinds of courses in our military. Why? Why? Saudi Arabia is an enemy of the United States. Yet for decades, through several US administrations, we have called them our ally. Why? They're the center of the Islamic world, whose stated objective is to wage war on the non-Muslim world until Islam dominates the world. Where in Saudi Arabia do they not teach that? They begin that at the first grade level. What do they say? Jews should be hated and despised, right? Take not the Jews and Christians as your friends. They are enemies of Allah. They teach that to first graders in Saudi Arabia. Now, why would they teach that? Because that's Islam. Why would Mohammed al-Shamrani kill U.S. Navy personnel, members of the U.S. military? Lawful in Islam. It's a command to do it. And there's no version of Islam that doesn't teach that. How about Abdurahman Alamoudi, who was the advisor to President Clinton, served as a goodwill ambassador for the State Department, created the Muslim chaplain program for what? The Department of Defense. And he's in prison because he's an Al-Qaeda operative, a financier for Al-Qaeda, involved in plots to kill the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who became King Abdullah. How broken is our vetting system? How broken is our counterintelligence system? How broken is the FBI? How broken is the Secret Service, allowing an Al-Qaeda operative to work with the President of the United States? Anwar al-Awlaki, the leader of Al-Qaeda in Yemen, spoke and taught inside the US Capitol and at the US Pentagon, the leaders in the Pentagon.
Who was extremely successful.
I don't even have words for this, but this has been going on since before 9/11. This is how broken we are. Gulmurad Kalimov, probably you've never heard of him, ISIS commander, participated in 5 State Department counterterrorism training programs, including programs on weapons and tactics in the United States and overseas. 5 times. And the spokeswoman, when confronted with the fact that they trained an ISIS guy, Junjawala is her name, the spokeswoman for the State Department, and she said, all the vetting, we vetted this guy. Well, obviously, your vetting program doesn't frickin' work. This is where we are. This is how catastrophically broken we are. Now, I could give you a whole bunch of other examples. You can look in the article. But here's the point, is I can tell you as a matter of fact that the President of the United States understands Islam's the problem, but he doesn't understand how they're doing it. He doesn't understand how they're working with the communist and Marxist movement. He doesn't understand the modus operandi, and he doesn't understand that almost without exception, everyone around him, the Republicans around him, are not only don't understand the threat, their understanding of the threat, and I'm specifically talking about the Islamic threat, is exactly opposite of what Muslim children in U.S. Islamic schools are taught about Islam. And that's the point. That's how catastrophically broken we are. No surprise that Alshamrani was Al-Qaeda, but how about all the suit-wearing jihadis like Osama Jamal, the #2 guy for the Muslim Brotherhood, working inside the Trump White House? There are many examples of this. So it's not that this guy was Al-Qaeda that should rock your world. You should have figured out he doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's Al-Qaeda. He is a Sharia adherent Muslim obeying Islamic law and doing what Muslims are commanded to do under Islam. They're commanded to obey Allah and impose Allah's divine law, Sharia, on the earth, on every human on earth. It's the purpose of Islam. It's the command to every Muslim. Now, there are Muslims who don't want to live under Sharia, who don't want to obey Sharia, and that's fine. But a Muslim who doesn't obey Sharia and doesn't want to impose it is not a different version of Islam. And so when people challenge you, well, that's not true, or we have to work with moderates, really? Let's see, since 9/11, has the problem, while we've been working with moderates for 19 years, has the problem gotten better or worse? And anybody with a functioning brain cell who pays attention and has the capacity to discern and reason knows the situation in the world with regards to the global Islamic movement and the global jihad has gotten exponentially worse. Well, so it's fair to say, whatever we're doing isn't working.